Hello, children. We continue with the revision of Chapter 1 The Rise of Nationalism in Europe. Fourth part The Making of Germany and Italy. Children, after 1848, nationalist feelings were widespread among middle class Germans. They tried to unite the different regions of the German Confederation into a nation state. Prussia took on the leadership of the movement for national unification. Otto von Bismarck was the leader of this process, carried out with the help of the Prussian army and bureaucracy. When Bismarck came to office, he had clear cut views and definite aims. He was a Prussian to the core, and to him, a united Germany meant an extension of Prussian power. 3 wars over 7 years, Danish War, Austro-Prussian War, and Franco-Prussian War were fought, which ended in Prussian victory and completed the process of unification of Germany in 1871. The Prussian king William I was proclaimed German emperor in a glamorous ceremony in the Hall of Mirrors at Versailles. Germany owes it to Bismarck alone. Like Germany, Italy too had a long history of political fragmentation. Italians were scattered over several dynastic states as well as the multinational Habsburg Empire. You know, during the middle of the 19th century, Italy was divided into 7 states, of which only one, Sardinia Piedmont, was ruled by an Italian princely house. The unification process was led by 3 revolutionaries: Giuseppe Mazzini, Count Camillo di Cavour, and Giuseppe Garibaldi. Mazzini, during the 1830s, sought to put together a coherent program for a unitary Italian republic and organized a secret society called Young Italy. Sardinia Piedmont's chief minister, Count de Cavour, now led the movement to unify the regions of Italy. With the help of France, Cavour succeeded in defeating the Austrian forces in 1859. Apart from regular troops, a large number of armed volunteers under the leadership of Giuseppe Garibaldi joined the fray. In 1861, the process of the unification of Italy completed, and Victor Emmanuel II was proclaimed King of the United Italy. The unification of Italy reached its completion, a thing accomplished by Mazzini's moral enthusiasm, Garibaldi's sword, Cavour's diplomacy, and Victor Emmanuel's tact and good sense. The strange case Britain. The history of nationalism in Britain was different from the rest of Europe. Children, you know, before the 18th century, there was no British nation. The people of different identities comprised English, Welsh, Scots, or Irish lived in the British Isles. The Act of Union of 1707 between England and Scotland resulted in the formation of the United Kingdom of Great Britain. This led to the demolition of Scotland's distinctive culture and political institutions. Ireland was forcibly included into United Kingdom in 1801. A new British nation was forged through the propagation of a dominant English culture. Hello children, we continue the revision of first chapter, Class 10 History, The Rise of Nationalism in Europe, fifth part, Visualizing the Nation. How does one go about giving a face to a nation? In the 18th and 19th centuries, artists found a way out of personifying a nation. In other words, they represented a country as if it were a person. Nations were then portrayed as female figure. The female figure became an allegory of the nation. In France, she was christened or named Marianne, a popular Christian name, which underlined the idea of a people's nation. Similarly, Germania became the allegory of the German nation. Nationalism and imperialism. The most serious source of nationalist tension in Europe after 1871 was the area called the Balkans. The Balkans consisted of regions of modern day Romania, Bulgaria, Albania, Greece, Macedonia, Croatia, Bosnia, Herzegovina, Slovenia, Serbia, and Montenegro. And their inhabitants were broadly known as Slavs. When the Ottoman Empire collapsed, it initiated nationalism in the Balkan states. Soon, the feeling of nationalism spread and the situation became very unstable. The Ottoman Empire tried to control the situation by strengthening itself through modernization and internal reforms, but in vain. Gradually, its European nations got separated and fought for independence and political rights. In the race to expand their territories and to impose their supremacy on each other, Slavic nationalities quickly got into severe clashes. As a result, the Balkan area became an area of intense conflict. Matters were further worsened because the Balkans also became the scene of big power rivalry. During this period, there was intense rivalry among the European powers over trade and colonies, as well as naval and military might. These rivalries were very evident in the way the Balkan problems unfolded. Each power, Russia, Germany, England, Austria Hungary, was keen on countering the hold of the other powers over the Balkans and extending its own control over the area. This led to continued series of wars in the region, and finally the First World War broke out in 1914. So nationalism aligned with imperialization led Europe to disaster in 1914.